Good morning. It's May 9th, and we're going to talk about a few securities that we covered yesterday to show you how the signals work and how you can use them when I'm not around. So let's head over to the Longbow dashboard. So today we're going to be looking at the EFA, so that's developed markets outside the US, that's a ETF, as well as the Japan ETF, EWJ, and EEM, which is an emerging markets ETF. And if you remember, all of these were at or above the top end of the range. And what we're going to be looking at here, so now we're getting a neutral. You can see the white lines in between the green and red lines, meaning it's popped off the top end of the range. Now it's in the middle. We still have bullish short-term and medium-term momentum indicators, but a neutral implied volatility premium. So it's 8%, so it's pretty close to zero. So people aren't paying for protection. They're not complacent either. And if we look at the security, we can quickly see here the bullishness of it, but how it came off the top end of the range. So it hits the red line and then the white line comes down. So this is how you use it if you're looking to enter this ETF or enter into international markets. This can be helpful. So you want to be putting in your individual securities that fundamentally that you want to be looking at. But I'm just showing you overall how international markets through this ETF are performing. And now we're back down to the middle of the range with the neutral Longbow core signal. But then looking at Japan, we're overbought. We saw that yesterday as well. It's bullish and it's at a premium, so people have been paying for protection. So it makes sense that it could be going beyond the top end of its range because people are a little bit worried about the rally here. But you can see that the white line is now hitting the top end of the range and it's above it. So we've got a beta of 0.84, but if I'm looking at the odds, you know, it's over 3-to-1 negative. So the asymmetry is to the downside. If nothing else, it's going to be going back to the top end of the range most likely, and it's going to be sitting inside of a range. That's usually how it works. And you can see how well this has worked in the past. So let's go back here. You can just see you're hitting the tops, hitting the bottoms, going back to the tops, hitting the bottoms, you know, tops, and you're hitting the bottoms, and then you get back to the top. So you can see how this really works in your favor if you're looking this for short term. So for example, we were looking on adding positions. You're not going to be doing it at the top end of the range in Japan. You might be waiting until that's coming down to the lower end of the range in that bullish formation. We were also doing trades in EM last night. I'm not kind of saying the individual securities are where they were, but let's say you're just trading this ETF here in the States. It came back down, so now we're at neutral. It does make sense, right? Because the Chinese export figure came in soft. Even though banks were rallying, people are a little bit worried that, you know, like our friends at 42 Macro were talking about, that the reopening play was quite strong, but the momentum to keep the consumer going is a lot less. So the strength in that growth is going down. So without some sort of stimulus or support, you're not going to see the same type of ramp that you had in the past. Doesn't mean it won't happen. But again, you can kind of see here that we were in a neutral formation. So we were down, October reopening, really strong, and then it's been kind of pretty much coming down, and but over the intermediate term, really having more of a neutral bent. And you can see how this works. We were at the top end of the range, and now it's heading a little bit lower. So the white line's popping down from the top end of that range from a technical standpoint. You know, it's a beta there of 1.02. Odds of 1.5-to-1 to downside, so upside of 1.35, downside a little over 2. So we've got a neutral trading range signal here. It's in the middle of the range. So this is why I want to kind of go from one day to the next to explain how to use these signals. So whatever security you're looking at, this is how you think about the technical trading. And if you're looking to enter, looking to exit, trim, short, you want to be using the dashboard to help you figure out the timing a little bit better. We'll see you back tomorrow. Lots going on here with the CPI report, finding out where inflation's headed, the strength of the consumer. We talked, remember, about that in the arrows this past week. And if you're not getting the arrows in your inbox every morning, definitely check that out on our website. Sign up for free. It's a really great summary, and it gives you a sense of what we're looking at, what matters to us, and our views. So a few things, how you can play them. That's it for today. See you back tomorrow.